Tonight on NewsWatch.
Parents gather to discuss the devastating effects of fentanyl and learn how to protect their families.
Making aware of the young people so that they don't fall into this trap.
With the downturn in the economy, vacancy rates are up. We show you the initiatives landlords are offering to make their building your new home.
Well, I think personally the Horizon has much more to offer than your typical dormitory.
And the Fairmont Hotel McDonald reveals a grand treat.
And I present you our gingerbread house.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. The fentanyl crisis was once again front and center this week as parents, doctors, and educators met with the goal of helping our community.
With more tragic deaths happening in the city, the group came together to start a dialogue about the deadly drug. Our Corey Seller joins us live from the South Lobby with more on that story.
It wasn't the first time that parents, politicians, police, and other agencies have gotten together to collectively look for solutions to fentanyl use, and it likely won't be the last. This time, PEP, or Parents Empowering Parents, hosted the Forum on Combating the Drug, which even after taking many lives is actually getting even more dangerous. With uplifting music as a backdrop to inspire these parents, it was a reflective night. Some in attendance have seen intervention prove successful, while others are still struggling with children hooked on one of the worst drugs to ever hit Alberta's streets.
Fentanyl is different from other opiates, partially because it's highly potent when we are comparing with like morphine or heroin. It can be 50 or 100 times more potent than those opiates.
Dr. Aloric adds that we've come to believe that addictive people fall into certain groups. He says that it's people from all across the social spectrum. With more gatherings like pep talks, the goal is to raise public awareness in order to help those facing this horrific addiction. Tyler was addicted to fentanyl for a year and a half. When he used it, he unfortunately didn't receive the proper education of its effects.
I started using fentanyl, I didn't know what it was, and it was a little green powder, and my brother brought it over one day, and he didn't really know what he was doing either, and he crushed it up, and we snorted it together.
Eventually, Tyler hit rock bottom. He then sought out support to get clean in order to be with one person in particular among family.
The biggest thing for me, honestly, was my son.
Communities can access PEP programs like the Parent Support Group, which includes PEP meetings, U-Turn for Youth, which provides education and support, and MedX, that's for convicted ex-drug traffickers, are given education and interaction. Education is first and foremost important when it comes to fentanyl, because even the smallest amounts that one takes can lead to an overdose, and it's often mixed with other drugs, so the user has no idea how much they're actually getting.
Corey, if someone gets off fentanyl, how does their family deal with it?
Well, Mike, in Tyler's case, he lost much of his family's trust. Although he may be in a better place than before, moving forward, it will take time to regain that trust.
Corey, people are beginning to use the term carfentanil. What is that in comparison to fentanyl?
Well, Ethan, carfentanil is an artificial opioid similar to fentanyl, but 100 times more potent, and it just continues to spread across the country. Carfentanil is so powerful that a dose the size of a grain of salt can be fatal.
Thanks, Corey. That's Corey Seller reporting live from the South Lobby.
You're watching Nate NewsWatch.
More and more for rent signs are popping up around Edmonton, and that has landlords competing for business. High vacancy rates means more landlords looking for new incentives to entice tenants. Some are offering a free month of rent, while others are giving away free internet and TV packages to reel-in renters. Landlords say they're having to adapt their business models and in some cases lower rent just to keep people in their units.
One thing that would have to happen ultimately, we would look at this here too, also to fill the building, would be you would have to reduce your rates. If your incentives with 1 month's free rent aren't working and any other incentives you may have, you do have to look at lowering your rent prices and lowering your overall operating expenses.
Although many landlords are using incentives to bring in more tenants, They are experiencing a negative financial impact. However, they are continuing to be positive.
The City of Edmonton expanded an important service that makes it easier for students to get to campus.
The Universal Transit Pass, which gives students subsidized rates to access public transit, is expanding to 3 new municipalities.
Students living in Fort Saskatchewan, Leduc, and Spruce Grove will be included in the UPass program. This means that they no longer have to pay extra fares to transfer and use ETS services. It's a welcome change not only for students but the city as well, as they hope it means more students will turn to public transit as a way to get to school.
I look forward to that number continuing to rise and the benefits continuing to accumulate to everybody in the community. The cleaner air benefits of more people relying on transit to get to work, to get to school over time. I mean, there are so many bottom lines to what this program has achieved over the last 9 years and what it can continue to achieve through collaboration going forward.
The change will take effect beginning January 1st.
A recent poll was done across the province concerning drunk driving, and the results may surprise you. This poll, administered by Main Street Post Media, was taken amongst nearly 2,500 Albertans. Results showed that 18% said they would consider driving under the influence if it was on a quiet road for a short distance. The poll also showed that 8% admitted to having done so in the past. These stats are alarming for organizations such as Mad Canada, who feel some simply aren't getting the message.
You're putting your own life at risk, you're putting other people's lives at risk. And I think the people's attitude of, well, I've never been impacted by it, I've never been caught, and that needs to change.
According to the Edmonton Police Service, 1,573 people were arrested for impaired driving last year.
A familiar face around this time of year, Dan the Can Man is back and looking for donations.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. That's very generous. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.
Trying to stay warm and positive, Dan Johnstone embraces the cold for a good cause. Dan, better known as Dan the Can Man, is used to it, camping out at several locations, allowing people to donate around the clock. Dan's previous year, he was able to generate $14,000 and over 19,000 kilograms of food for people in Edmonton.
Well, the whole point of my, my movement or my campaign is just to do what I can to help out the community. So, I mean, if your heart's in the right place and you have a little bit of hard work and some elbow grease, you can make whatever you want. I mean, like I said, the world is your oyster.
Dan will be at Southgate Centre for 4 days and 4 nights before he moves on to his next location.
Firefighting gear from Edmonton is being sent to the Ukraine. The Ukraine has firefighters just like everywhere else, except their equipment is like taking a trip back through time. Most of the equipment is either from the Soviet era or has been donated from neighboring countries. So Edmonton firefighters are stepping in to donate the Ukraine better equipment to operate and save lives easier.
A lot of these tools would definitely bring their standards up and bring their ability to perform the life rescue operations, which will translate into safer firefighters and lives saved.
For more information or have firefighting equipment you wish to donate, you can get in contact with Kevin through the GoFundMe page.
With the city's newest app, Edmontonians will have an easier way to showcase where they are while texting. The Edmonton Journal's Sandra Spironis has developed the new Edmoji app, featuring some of Edmonton's iconic locations and people, including Mayor Don Iveson and the Alberta Legislature building. Spironis says the idea came to her just by adding the letter D in emoji and hopes this app gives Edmontonians a chance to express our community.
I think it's a great celebration of Edmonton. We love to recognize Edmonton. I think, as a community, we're very self-conscious about who we are, and I think it's just a great way to, communicate with each other.
The Edmoji app will be free and is set to release in mid-December.
Holiday season is officially underway, and a large treat is on display in our city. The Fairmont Hotel McDonald created its largest gingerbread house ever. The house took 7 days of work to be completed with almost 1,000 eggs and over 100 kilograms of flour used in its recipe. It's something the hotel hopes will be embraced by the community.
One of the things we are proud of, like we said, it's made by locals for locals. So it's totally different from different years, and I think we are progressing every year to make something different and make the city of Edmonton, we want to be part of the community, and this year, again, we'll be part of the community.
This year's house is also different from those in the past, as it is no longer a replica of the hotel and is one that visitors can walk inside of.
Coming up after the break, the month of Movember is creating awareness for men's health issues.
And for one NAIT student, donating and participating means more than just growing a mustache.
Oh, I think it's a great cause, and I mean, giving people a chance to grow a mustache and just kind of get the word out and raise money, I think it's a great cause, and I think it does really well for a charity.
Coming up in sports, I have your NAIT men's and women's volleyball highlights. I'll give you a preview of the Grey Cup, and I'm going to learn how to shoot a hockey puck.
Hey, I'm Chantel, and I know we haven't been getting enough snow for you to take out your shovels, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. But as we approach December, we're looking at some cooler temperatures. I got more of that coming up in weather.
As December's right around the corner, it's weird not to see that much snow on the ground. It's kind of hard to get into the winter spirit.
Well, you're certainly right about that, Mike, and I don't think I'll be able to get away without wearing my winter jacket for all that much longer. Our Chantel Germo has more on that coming up in weather.
Yeah, guys, we're looking to some normal cooler temperatures. However, we're not going to get that much snow for it to stick around, so you might not be able to go to the ODR anytime soon. Looking at Calgary, we're looking at a high of -4 and a low of -9. It's going to be cloudy and there's going to be some flurries, so make sure your wipers are working. Moving on to Jasper, it's going to be a mix of sun and cloud. There's going to be, again, a high of -4 and a low of -8. So it's not too cold of a day. You're looking at a 0% chance of precipitation, which is good for you snowboarders and skiers because Marmot Basin opened up this week. Moving on to Fort McMurray, you're looking at a high of -6 and a low of -10. So it's a little cooler than other regions in our province. Again, there's going to be a mix of sun and cloud and 0 precipitation. Now moving on to Edmonton, you're looking at a 20% chance of precipitation. It's going to be cloudy and we're going to be getting light snow. Now this is going to be the turning point of the season. We're going to get much cooler temperatures from now on. You're looking at a high of -5 and a low of -9. We're going to be getting 1 to 2 centimeters of snow for Sunday morning. And now the averages for Edmonton, you're looking at a high of -2 and a low of -10. So we're just around the right temperatures. The records for Edmonton, there was a high of +12 in 2002 and a low of -42 in 1883, which I'm glad we're not in those temperatures. That's all I have for weather. Enjoy your weekend.
Weather, brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
Well, the month of Movember is almost at a close, and we're still seeing more and more facial hair around campus.
Well, that's right, and the Movember Foundation aims to raise awareness and funds for men's health issues, and for some people it means a little more than just growing a mustache. Our Clark Wilson has that story.
The Mobros. That's what they're calling the men who participate in the Movember Foundation. Some use this month as a reason to grow their stashes without questions asked, but for Jason Mork, he uses this month to show support by growing and donating to the Diabetes Research Fund. He has had type 1 diabetes since he was 15 years old and has been participating in Movember for the last 3 years.
I mean, I can obviously relate to someone going through suffering from prostate cancer, being a diabetic. So, I mean, I'm always happy to support a good cause and I like to donate and help out.
Jason is one of many men dealing with health complications, and Movember aims to increase awareness about all men's health issues.
Dr. Gans Ferens feels the movement of Movember is a positive one and a trend that will continue to grow.
Traction it's gotten recently is quite exciting, right? A lot of guys are growing their mustaches and their beards and different things like that, and so awareness is growing of the whole movement.
As for Jason, he enjoys the fact he not only gets to grow out his stash for a month, but that he is doing it for a good reason.
Oh, I think it's a great cause, and I mean, giving people a chance to grow a mustache and just kind of get the word out and raise money, I think it's a great cause, and I think it does really well for a charity.
For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Clark Wilson.
Well, it was a disappointing loss last week for the Eskimos against the Ottawa Red Blacks.
And I hear the Calgary Stampeders won't be allowed to bring their horse Quick Six with them to the Toronto for the Grey Cup. Hey, Angie?
That's right, guys. Quick Six will not be allowed in the six, but it will still be an interesting matchup. But first, I have your NAIT volleyball highlights. The NAIT Ooks women's volleyball team faced off against the Augustana Vikings last Saturday here at home. And after beating them on Friday 3-0, the Ooks are looking to keep up the momentum. With Nate in the yellow up 3-0, Jamie Bain serves it to Vikings Kiana Maw. The ball is set for Lauren Van Dyke, who hits it deep, but Victoria Johnstone is there to keep it alive. Delaney Stang is able to put it over, and Rebecca Bates is unable to get there. Ooks are up 4-0 now. Vikings again, Jamie Bain again with the serve to Kiana Maw, who places it nicely, and Bates spikes it over the net. Johnstone is able to set it up for Jocelyn Peters on the outside, who hits it over. Nicole Brockman then sets it behind her to Ray Matrunik, who places it in center court, and the Vikings are on the board. Later in the first, Nate winning 18-16, Jillian Samko with the serve. Jamie Bain sets it up to Alexis Anderson, who puts it over. Vikings scrambles, but are unable to save it. The Ooks will win that set 25-21. They will go on to win the next 2 sets as well. Coach Henricks was impressed with his team's performance.
Yeah, I was really happy with our consistency. So we limited the errors, by far our best weekend of the year as far as unforced errors. So something to build on for sure.
The second game of the doubleheader featured the Nate men's team against Augustana. Losing a close one the night before, the Ooks were looking for redemption. Ooks in the yellow, Vikings have an early lead of 4-2. Devin Klein serves it up. Gabriel Ricard with a big touch here, and Ben Onishuk puts it down to make it a bit closer. Later on in the first, Ooks lead 17-11. Danny Martin with the serve, and Ben Onishuk is unable to handle it. Fast forward a bit, and the Vikings are making it close. The score now 24-23 for Nate. Reese Fingus with the serve, and Mitch Lewington gets the pass and sets it up for Spencer Fisher, who then hits it deep and gets the point. On to the third set, Ooks up by 1. Patrick Mate with the serve. Mitch Lewington sets it up then for Devin Klein. However, with a big block here by Lyndon Varga, the Vikings tie it up, but they won't be able to score again after that. The Ooks take that set 26-24. Ooks libero Isaiah Stein had a 100% kill percentage on the night and says his team was able to focus and bounce back from their close loss the night before.
Close loss yesterday. We kind of just tried to battle back and stay focused on what we need to deal with tonight. And I feel like we just dug in, had what we needed to do in mind, and did that well.
With an Eskimo loss last week, there will not be a Battle of Alberta Grey Cup this year. Instead, the Ottawa Redblacks and Calgary Stampeders will face off at the BMO Field in Toronto tomorrow. Ottawa could be facing an uphill battle in this matchup. They did not beat Calgary once in the regular season game all year. We asked our Twitter followers what they thought, and 62% think that Calgary will be the winner tomorrow. If you were watching the MLS playoffs on Tuesday, you might have recognized one of the players. Toussaint Ricketts was born and raised in Edmonton and is now playing forward for the Toronto FC. Officially signed in July, Toussaint has scored 4 goals since for the Toronto FC. And in the playoff game, got an assist. When Toussaint was a teenager, Sean Fleming was his coach at the National Training Center. And while things weren't always easy, Sean says he's proud of what Toussaint has accomplished.
Him and I were sitting here together. He'd say that we had to do a little bit of attitude adjustment in terms of his training habits, in terms of his commitment to what he should be doing. And so, but all credit to him. Like as sometimes as a coach and athlete have, there's some tense moments, and I would say that Toss and I did have our tense moments, but he was absolutely tremendous so on how he did it and how he improved in such a short time.
If you want to see Toussaint in action, his next game is against the Montreal Impact on November 30th. This week for the End Zone Challenge, I decided to try my hand at shooting some pucks. Hey there, I'm here with Chase Elson from the Nate men's hockey team, and he's going to teach me how to shoot a hockey puck today. So what's first?
Wrist shot, okay.
Okay.
I'll line you up. So in a wrist shot, I learned this when I was maybe 4 years old, but it's always heel to toe. So you start on your heel,
okay,
and make sure when you're done, it goes off your toe, and wherever you point, that's where the puck should go, obviously. But so it's just like that, heel to toe. You should be able to get it off the ice like that. You can try yourself. That's actually not bad. You lean into it. Like don't stand straight up. Try to lean into it a bit. Okay. Finish point.
Okay.
There it is. That's nice. Start on your backhand.
Okay.
And you want the spin almost. So you want that like feeling of when it's spinning. It's just like that. Okay. Yeah. Same thing. This hand up there. Okay. That hand. Yeah. So that'll get right to the puck.
Okay.
And fire. Before you go, just load up and then just point your toe. So on a slap shot, there's no real, you don't have to heel to toe. Anywhere you want to hit it, and just try not to do that. Keep your blade down. Nice. Sounds good.
Thanks, Joyce, for teaching me how to shoot. I don't think I'll be joining a hockey team anytime soon, though.
Hey, no, I mean, it's not the easiest thing, but it's my pleasure to help you, so whatever works, thanks.
Thanks, guys. I'm sure glad I didn't have to do that on skates, otherwise I would have been on the ground the entire time.
You know what, Angie? I think you should stick to just talking about hockey instead of playing it.
Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to agree.
Yeah, I think I'll put my hockey stick away for now. Thanks, guys.
Coming up after the break, the familiar sound of kettlebells ringing as the Salvation Army's kettle campaign begins.
We went down there to learn a little more about this seasonal fundraiser.
Those monies in their entirety stay local. So all the money raised in Edmonton stays in Edmonton to help Edmontonians.
Coming up in entertainment, we pay a visit to McEwen's newest musical spectacular, see what a local sketch comedy group has to offer for a laugh, and the joy of Christmas really comes to life with the Festival of Trees.
Hair services provided by Rock's Salon and Spa.
The kettle campaign is back for another year.
And we got the chance to learn a little more about this seasonal fundraiser. The kettle campaign has set a goal of $500,000 and has so far only reached 8% of that. The Salvation Army keeps the money earned in the city of Edmonton, which is a plus for the community.
Monies that we raise that stay locally in order for us to be able to provide relief for the needy and those, of course, without work and without means throughout the Christmas season.
The Salvation Army is still looking for more volunteers. The campaign will run until Christmas Eve. You know, Mike, I think it's safe to say it's beginning to feel like Christmas, especially with events like the Festival of Trees going on.
That's right, and it looks like the McEwen students are gearing up to put on another musical performance. Our Audrey French has all that and more in entertainment.
The Roaring 20s may be far behind us, but you have an opportunity to relive those glory days by coming out to McEwen's musical production, The Drowsy Chaperone. The Drowsy Chaperone is a bright, contagious, and fun jazz-age musical featuring one show-stopping song and dance number after another. The musical is based on a man reflecting on his favorite fictional 1928 musical that comes to life. The lead cast member of the student production shares his experience being a part of the show.
It's a challenge for sure, just because it's long days, because we also have class at the same time as rehearsals, but we're all here for the same reason, to do shows, and that's what we love to do. So no matter how we're feeling that day, rehearsals kind of bring us back together.
The show is set to run from November 27th to December 3rd at the John L. Har Theatre for the Arts. Tickets for The Drowsy Chaperone are available through Tix on the Square or tixonthesquare.ca. It's that time of year again where things are a bit more chilly but a lot more festive. And speaking of festive, if you love the holidays as much as I do, you'll want to come out to the Festival of Trees. The Festival of Trees is an annual holiday celebration in Edmonton, which is now in its 32nd year. The festival is brought to life by donors, sponsors, and the tireless efforts of more than 2,000 volunteers. This festival includes designer trees and holiday accent pieces, but that isn't all the festival has to offer. They are raising funds for their own stroke ambulance.
This ambulance is a one-of-a-kind in Canada right now, and it's designed to treat a disease called stroke. So the stroke ambulance has a CT scanner within it, and it's going to go out to meet an incoming ambulance so we can treat a patient an hour or two faster. The greater project around it, including staffing for paramedics and nurses and everything, is $3.3 million. So that's what the foundation is raising funds for, and Festival of Trees is helping to do that.
Over the last 30 years, the Festival of Trees has raised $18.5 million for the University of Alberta Hospital and other hospitals throughout Alberta. The Festival of Trees will run until Sunday, November 27th. A local comedy sketch group in Edmonton showcases unique and hilarious talent in its bi-weekly showcase.
Welcome to On Wednesday!
On Wednesday is a sketch comedy showcase at the Sewing Machine Factory that is held every second week. The show is produced and hosted by the debutantes who also performed in this week's showcase. The show is intended to be an outlet for live sketch, short films, character pieces, and musical comedy.
So the Debutantes are a local sketch comedy group. We were performing on like variety shows, stand-up comedy shows, and it was a lot of fun, but we really wanted a place for us to do our thing every week or every other week, as the case may be, and to kind of give a place for other sketch groups to do their thing. We have a huge variety of performances, everything from traditional sketch comedy like you'd see on Saturday Night Live or Key and Peele, down to things like sort of more performance art stuff.
The show runs every second Wednesday starting at 9 p.m. and admission is $5. If you're interested in performing for Odd Wednesday, contact the Debutantes at lcreswick@gmail.com. Whether you love to make crafts, are looking for gifts for the holidays, or simply want to support local artists and creators, the Edmonton Make It Show has just what you're looking for and so much more. Since 2008, Make It has grown to become one of the most popular craft fairs in Canada, featuring work which is all locally made from over 275 artists. These handmade crafts are diverse and fun for everyone. Edmontonians of all ages come out each year to support locally made items.
It's nice to sort of support the work that's being made in your city, and a lot of times when you buy something from a booth, it's a local artist, and that's really, really cool as well, because we can get to know who's making things and creating things and what we're all about. So it brings our community together, and we get some neat stuff out of it.
From mouth-watering macaroons and Oscar-worthy cookies to creative artwork and some stunning handmade jewelry, there is no limit to the fun and creativity. Edmonton's Handmade Market will be at the Northlands Expo Center until November 27. That's all for entertainment this week, guys. Make sure to head out to Make It Edmonton and the Festival of Trees, as tomorrow is their final day. Have a great weekend.
Hundreds of Edmonton's finest were recognized for their achievements at the Salute to Excellence Awards last Monday.
These awards are given to those who excel in categories such as arts and culture, community service, and sports. Many recognizable faces, including Mayor Don Iveson and Councillor Scott McKean, were on hand to present the awards. Edmontonians of all ages received awards reflecting their hard work and determination that it takes to be recognized with such an honor.
I train about 4 days a week for 3 hours a day. Yeah, and I've been doing that for years, and you have to be really dedicated to do it.
This year's event marked the 65th presentations of the awards. That's all for Nate Newswatch.
Thank you for watching.